Hi, YouTube.
Hey.
It's just the boys today.
Wait, a girl comes.
Katie's also here.
Phrasing.
She's on camera. I know you guys
she'll
love
be,
that.
yeah, she'll be here. You'll see Katie in a minute. You're not going to see her right now. You know what? Show her, Zah. Good. He didn't show her. Anyway, pay attention. We're doing quarterbacks today, and the biggest question is, hi, Katie.
Hello.
Watch, like, subscribe, enjoy. It's Unnecessary Roughness.
Comment.
Just the boys. Casey's off in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yep.
Katie's in some bullshit meeting.
She's very corporate now.
Yeah, she's been getting dragged into a lot of corporate shit. Well, that sucks to be her. One thing about Kayce going to Omaha. Doesn't it make you sick?
Yeah.
See her being a bandwagon fan. Like, she never says anything about college baseball all season long.
Yep.
Then her team makes it to Omaha. Lo and behold, she gets to go on a free, all expenses paid trip to Omaha.
Yep.
And she's out there gallivanting with Ben Mintz. Just, I get to be out there because my team's out there. That's kind of bullshit.
I've never heard about that ever happening.
It sickens me. It absolutely sickens me.
I was thinking about it this morning, and I was just mad.
Is that what was angering you this morning?
Yes. Subway a little bit, but wasn't that bad.
Did they get your sandwich wrong?
No, it was the trains.
Oh, okay. All right. Somebody was running a train in a subway?
That does happen in New York.
I'm sure it does,
yeah.
yes. But enough about Kayce.
I thought you were going to make a U-Haul joke.
A me-haul joke?
U-Haul joke.
Why a U-Haul joke?
Because
all
those
Proud Boys?
Yeah. No one's made the joke to me yet. Like, hey, Jack, were you in the U-Haul?
Well, I've had a lot going on in my life.
I know.
So I haven't really been – when that story happened, 4 or 5 days ago, I was still down pretty bad, so I missed it. But I will be making that joke.
Yeah. Like, if you see a U-Haul, just take a picture and be like, yo, is Jack Mack in there?
All right, you ready to do the show?
I'm more than ready.
Hi, welcome to Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's college football podcast, brought to you by the good folks at High Noon Hard Seltzer. Is this a tall boy?
Yeah, have you seen these yet?
No.
I think they got shipped here when you were in Mississippi.
Really?
They have a really cool how you break them.
Yeah.
You essentially put your key in to they open in the back, and then when you open it, because there's so much pressure in there, it's almost like an explosion. And then the cool part is if you open it, this allows you to close it back up.
So it's a resealable top.
If you're on the beach or at a tailgate,
you
can reseal it, because we've all had drinks that we put on a table or like on the ground,
and take 3 drinks out of it, it's all gone, or you're not gonna reuse it or re-drink it. You're just gonna throw it away.
Exactly. So this is innovation,
and it's a tall boy.
It's big.
That's a big son of a bitch right there. This is the peach.
Mine's a peach too.
High Noon Hard Seltzer. They got real juice, real vodka, real people like you and me. It is the best. And now it seems like they're coming out with something new every week.
They have so many flavors now. Remember when there used to just be 4? Now was
there ever 4 or was it 6?
Maybe there was always 6 because they always
4?
had a tropical.
I don't know. It was all watermelon, pineapple,
lime.
No, I think lime came after. Lime and peach came. It was the first 4.
Right. Watermelon,
pineapple, black cherry, grapefruit.
Yes.
That's the 4 originals, right?
Then
lime and peach. Then
kiwi and guava.
Well, mango's in there somewhere.
Maybe mango's in there too.
Yeah.
And then they just added lime.
Lemon.
So we're at 10 now.
We seem to really know a lot about High Noon and the history of it. It's the boys today. So Kayce is gone to Omaha. She is growing the game out there. Real quick, thank you to Kayce and Katie and Jack. If you don't know, if you've just been watching or haven't been watching or whatever, my dad died a couple of weeks ago, and I had to go to Mississippi, and it wasn't fun. But I'm back. Ready to roll, ready to talk college football, and several things have happened since I left.
Yeah.
Magazine season.
We're almost there. It's that 95 degrees out, which reminds you, hey, we're really close now.
Also in the South, and I don't know that it happens anywhere but the South, and probably happens in Texas, somewhere like that. Everybody starts going to the same vacation spots.
Oh, yes.
Like Destin, Florida will be, it will have Ole Miss flags, Alabama flags, Auburn flags, Georgia flags. Like, you start to see all these people come, and you say, okay, well, it's coming. And that's one of the and I don't know if it happens. I'm sure on the East Coast you've got that too.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but there's the same vacation spots, Cape Cod, a lot of places on Long Island, and then you go down to like a little bit more Atlantic.
I bet Myrtle
South,
Beach
Myrtle
is
Beach.
a lot of Clemson and South Carolina
Yes.
flags, North Carolina flags.
But at like if you go up New England, there's not a lot of college.
No, not a lot of that. Although I think New England's going to be okay at college football this year. Like Boston College is going to be pretty good. So here's what the show is going to be. I am knee deep in just getting ready for this season.
You were tweeting a lot about it. It was cool.
I've started to discover things that I like about certain teams. I've started to discover things I don't like about certain teams. I've started to discover several things. And if you remember last year, I correctly predicted it was going to be the year where defense fights back, right?
Yes.
So at the beginning, and Georgia ended up winning the national championship on the strength of one of the best defenses we've ever seen.
Yes.
I think I'm ready to say
the opposite's going to happen.
No. This is the year of the quarterback. But it's not just the year of the top line quarterback. This is the year where I think we have more good quarterbacks in this country than we've had in a long time.
And last year, we kind of thought it was going to be the year of the quarterback, but it turned out to be the year of the disappointing quarterback.
Well, there were disappointing guys like DJ Uiagalelei. There were disappointing guys like that. But there were certainly, say, C.J. Stroud came through, Bryce Young. We thought it was the year of the young quarterback. It was almost the year of uncertainty at quarterback, and then a couple of them came through, a couple of them didn't. But I think more teams this year feel good about their quarterback than any time I can remember. Of course, it goes out saying Bryce Young is great at Alabama, C.J. Stroud at Ohio State. This entire show is going to be about quarterbacks pretty much.
Quarterback show.
It's a quarterback show, and then I've got 10 questions, the 10 biggest questions in college football this year. We might start with that. But right now, I'm talking about quarterbacks. I think –
You want to go through news first or no?
We can go through news in a second. I think this will be the year of quarterback because more teams have good quarterbacks than have ever had them before. Bryce Young, Alabama, Ohio State, C.J. Stroud, yes, goes without saying. Look in the ACC alone, the Atlantic Coast Conference. How many teams in the Atlantic Coast Conference feel really fucking good about their quarterback spot? I think it might be as many as 12.
All right, so
Miami has Van Dyke. They feel really good. Florida State has Jordan Travis. That's the strength of their team. Devin Leary at NC State. Sam Hartman at Wake Forest. Malik Cunningham. Louisville's not very good. Malik Cunningham is an exciting player. Pitt feels very good about Keaton Slovis.
I've heard rumors they don't, but
Pitt fans feel very good about Keaton Slovis. Virginia. Brennan Armstrong coming back.
Nobody feels better than
them. That's 7. And it might not be as many.
You forgot about Phil Jurkovich.
Phil Jurkovich at Boston College. I was just going to kind of, in a roundabout way, say, but it's at least 9 or 10. Duke, whatever. Georgia Tech, Jeff Sims, they'll feel great. Clemson, they'll see. They've got Cade Klubnik waiting right behind DJ Uiagalelei. In the SEC, you got like Will Rogers isn't going to be one of the top 3 all SEC all SEC teams in media days. He's not. He's going to be behind Hendon Hooker. He's going to be behind Bryce Young. He's going to be behind KJ Jefferson at Arkansas. And Will Rogers might be one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country. I just think we've got a depth of feeling good at quarterback.
SEC has a lot of teams feeling good about their quarterbacks too.
I think about going towards the Pac-12. Cam Rising's at Utah. Don't you think Arizona State's excited to see what they have in Emory Jones? Washington State, excited to see what they have in Cam Ward, who came from Incarnate Word. Tanner McKee at Stanford. Caleb Williams.
Arizona feels good about DeLoya coming from
Washington State.
And then they picked up that wide receiver from UT.
There's a shit ton of teams in this country that feel really good at quarterback. I think this is going to be an interesting quarterback season because not all these guys can be good.
No, they cannot.
So why don't we're going to get back to quarterbacks in a minute. And we're answering these questions. In every single conference, who's the most important quarterback? In every single conference, who's the best quarterback? Who's the most disappointing quarterback? Who's the dark horse quarterback that can come out of nowhere and be great? And who's the most exciting newcomer? Those are the quarterback questions we're going to be answering. But here is my actually, I'm sorry. I've been off for 2 weeks. haven't been in a working frame of mind. I'm doing my best, but I'm very scatterbrained. Let's do news.
Okay. We're just going to do news from this past week, not since you've been gone.
Just lay it out to me.
Did you see that Texas A&M asked for Nick Saban to be suspended either?
What a bunch of baby back bitches. What a bunch of baby back bitches. Like, this is football. This is football, and this isn't on Jimbo. This is on that cowardly piece of shit athletic director they got. Texas A&M should be more proud than this. Texas A&M should be better than this. This fucking athletic director, who's the same guy that watched Hugh Freeze sink Ole Miss, who's the same guy that watched him do God knows what to get recruits there. He's the same guy that orchestrated the hostage video there. I have no idea why Texas A&M, one of the top athletic programs in the country, is run by this fucking clown. Ross Bjork's an idiot, and he is the athletic director out there, and they're going to the SEC and saying, hey, could you please, pretty please, Mr. Nick Saban's being mean to us. Shut the fuck up.
Do you think that they did that just to cover their own ass?
I think they did that because their athletic director is a slimy piece of shit. I think he is, in a world of slimy pieces of shit, Ross Bjork has a special place. Like, he literally oversaw the destruction of Ole Miss's athletic program.
You're not wrong.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And he was like skeevy then, and he goes to Texas A&M, and he's just a piece of shit. And it's one thing for you to come out publicly and say Nick Saban shouldn't have said that. That should be it. Be like a man, say, hey, don't say that. Don't say that about us. It ain't going to go well. But to go to use back channels and go to the SEC and play, please suspend him, please fine him, please do these things. Fuck you. What are we doing?
I agree. It is kind of a very
It's very whiny.
It's whiny.
It's a bitch made move. Texas A&M is bitch made.
Well,
MakeItAquote.com.
MakeItAquote.com.
There's a Twitter account, right? Make it a quote where it'll.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Texas A&M is bitch made.
With like black and white photo.
Yeah. If anybody out there is just doing this and wants to tweet out something from the show, Texas A&M is bitch made. Brandon Walker said that.
The jersey today.
Yes.
Backstory. You're just wearing an Oklahoma.
Wearing a Sooners jersey.
Okay. That's cool. Boomer, Sooner. Speaking of them.
So I am wearing, you know who this is?
It's Dupree, running back.
Mm-hmm. Marcus Dupree, the best that ever was. I was given this as a gift by Alex Bennett's rich husband. And look, if you look on the back, see that?
Yes.
It's autographed.
Where do you play in the pros?
He didn't really. He played for the Rams a little bit.
And then
Yeah, he busted at Oklahoma. He was the highest rated recruit maybe ever. He was a legendary recruit from Philadelphia, Mississippi. He went to Oklahoma in the '82.
Is this the guy that has the
30 for 30?
30 for 30. Yeah.
The best it never was.
That 30 for 30 is really good. And I think he was the guy who figured it out. He's like, he's kind of like we talked about it last week, Jamarcus Russell. It's like, I'm a bust, but I also.
I did it pretty well. Did okay.
Did pretty well, yeah.
I did
and
okay.
Now he likes like hunting and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he always did. He's just a redneck from Mississippi like me. But yeah, so I'm wearing a Marcus Dupree jersey, and it is autographed on the back.
All right. Speaking of.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying 1 second. Speaking of Oklahoma, the Big 12 announced that they're going to accept Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF in the summer of 2023. So it appears summer 2023, so they'll play in next season in the Big 12. Does that mean that we'll see Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC?
I don't see a world where all of those teams are playing together. Like you brought in those four to replace the two you lost, right? I don't see a world where you're going to have a 14-team conference for 1 year. I think the SEC is going to do whatever they can to go ahead and take Texas and Oklahoma, and we're going to see that. I don't know financially it makes sense. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it make sense, but nothing has made sense about college football and expansion and realignment and all that over the last few years, so we'll see. We'll see. Summertime.
Yeah. A lot of FOMO.
A
Yeah.
lot of things. So you got to make sure your head's right in the summer. Whether you take your time off or you take it easy or whatever, but you got a lot of responsibilities. Maybe your dad just died. I don't know. You got to figure out what's going on.
Everyone's saying it's summertime. You're supposed to be happy, and then you see everyone else having fun. And you're like, wait, am I having fun?
Yeah, you're in the U-Haul with your boys, and you're wondering, am I having a good time?
No.
And all of a sudden, you're on your knees and you got handcuffs.
Yeah.
Whatever. But life can be overwhelming, Jack.
It
really can. And many people are burned out and without even knowing it. Symptoms can include lack of motivation. I'm literally describing my last 2 weeks. Lack of motivation, irritability, fatigue, and more. I've been laying on a couch, a worthless ball of nothing for 10 days. That's why it feels weird.
You did some good football prep, though.
I did some football.
And you showed up today and were amazing.
I was amazing. Yes.
Honestly, I will say,
Jack.
your knowledge is insane.
It really is.
I haven't missed a bit.
Anyway, take that burnout and you get it fixed. I'm talking about BetterHelp. A word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. We associate burnout with work, but that's not the only cause.
Yep.
Any of our roles in life can lead us to feel burned out. BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Take care of you. Take care of you, Paige Browning. Take care of you, Kayce Smith. Take care of you, Jack McGuire. Take care of you, everybody else out there.
Talking to somebody can help.
That's literally the next line.
Oh, well, okay.
Talking to someone can help. It can help you figure out what's causing stress in your life. I know we all have it, and we all need places we can go. BetterHelp is one of those places, I promise you. They're customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. Mm-hmm. You can make it feel as intimate or non-intimate as you want. It's more affordable than in-person therapy. You can be matched with a therapist under 48 hours. Our listeners, unnecessary reference listeners, get 10% off their first month of BetterHelp.com/Smith. I'm okay with that. /Smith. BetterHelp.com/Smith. That's BetterHelp.com/Smith. This whole conference realignment is just it's still a kerfuffle. I think one of the biggest questions coming out over the next few years is who's going to be Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12. Who's going to be the swinging dick?
Yeah.
There'll be a swinging dick.
Is it going to be Baylor?
I mean, every conference has haves and have-nots. Like Clemson has evolved into the bedrock of the ACC. That wasn't always the case.
How's TCU going to do under Sonny Dykes?
How's TCU going to do? Like, there's so many. There's like, I feel like not all four of them, but BYU, Cincy, Houston,
UCF,
and
UCF.
Yeah, UCF. I think all four of these teams coming in have a chance to just go right to the top of the conference. Not all of them will do it, but I feel like what would be stopping Cincy if Fickell stays around from being a top 3 Big 12 program over the next 10 years?
I mean, last year, if you put them in the conference, they may have won it.
Oh, they would have won it.
Yeah, they would have.
I don't think there's any doubt they would have won it.
Yeah.
All right, what's the other news?
With that, then Charlotte, FAU, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and UTSA will be the AAC. Marcus Freeman was taking some shots at Ohio State about their about their classes, saying that at Ohio State you just take some online classes and then show up for your appointments.
I'm sure that plays well to the 60-year-old rich alumni base of Notre Dame. I'm sure that's great, fantastic. Yay, Buffy and Muffy like it. I'm just not sure taking shots at the team that's going to railroad your ass to open the season. A team that's much better than you in football. I don't know that it already looks whiny, and you haven't even played them yet.
And he played there, and he's already looked kind of whiny with the I didn't want to make the same mistake twice comment a few years ago. He's a weird whiny guy about Ohio State, considering he went there, played there, and I think during the time he wasn't loved, but he was liked as a player.
Yeah, and he's just one of these. We got to kind of get used to Marcus Freeman.
I know.
We got to figure him out. He's got to figure us out. We're just kind of we're out of the honeymoon phase now, right? Like, he's hired.
Yeah.
It's we understand why he was hired for the recruiting. Now we got to figure out how likable he's going to be, how successful he's going to be. Because if he's not successful, it doesn't matter if he's likable or not. Like, look at Derek Mason, one of the most likable guys ever, not successful. So
it doesn't matter how likable you are if you can't win.
Correct. Yes.
One other kind of those recruiting aspect stories. Carr's grandson, CJ Carr, committed to Notre Dame over Michigan. Obviously, he's a class of 2024 guy. There's a bunch of reasons this could happen.
I always wonder when somebody's grandson like that commits, right? I mean, look, Michigan fired Lloyd Carr.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Why do we give a shit? Why should he give a shit about sending his grandson to Michigan?
I don't think he gave a shit at all. He
put on the fucking
the
Notre Dame gear. Now, I do think it's an interesting roller coaster. It's an interesting chess game. If you notice, he's a 2024 recruit.
Yeah.
He kind of gets in the way of them recruiting a 2023 5-star.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Dante Moore, I believe his name is.
Is it Moore? Is it Dante? I think Dante is right. Is it Moore? Or is it Long?
It's Dante Moore.
Dante Moore. The soup. Dante Moore.
Yes, and he went. He's from Michigan,
Yeah.
class of 2023.
Right. And Notre Dame was recruiting him big time. He's a 5-star this year. So Carr kind of jumped him in line, didn't he?
Yes, so this is more of a recruiting thing, but it is really wild how they must have taken the sure bet on him instead of being like, we could get Dante Moore, but we'd rather have CJ Carr, I guess. And then also CJ Carr, is he a true 5-star or is it because of his last name?
Well, that's I was going to use this next guy as an example for the first thing, but Arch Manning, right?
Yes.
2023 recruit. He's going to be a senior this year. Had he committed somewhere last summer, let's say he commits to Alabama last summer,
Yeah.
they probably don't get the 5-star in that class that they got.
Yes.
But like this whole 5-star quarterback thing, they play chess against each other. Can we get a recruiting guy on here because I want to ask him some questions?
Yeah, we can. And I was thinking about getting an NIL guy. Well, we could always get Bud Elliott. He's not.
Yeah, I like Bud. Bud's a great guy.
There's a lot of there's so many recruiting guys, so we could get anybody.
I want to get a recruiting guy, and I want to point blank ask him if Arch's last name were Anderson, would he be the number 1 recruit in the country?
The quarterback class for this year is just incredibly loaded because Malachi Nelson's going to USC.
But here's the thing.
$8 million IM11 is
here's
going
the thing.
to Tennessee.
Is this a loaded quarterback year, or does it line the pockets of recruiting analysts to put out a lot of loaded quarterbacks? It's a fair question.
No, I'm not. I don't know.
You never know. And I don't know going back, but if you look, they don't – I would say they probably get quarterback wrong more than they get any other position, which makes sense.
The NFL gets it just as wrong.
Everybody gets it wrong. Like it's very hard to look at a guy at one level of football playing quarterback and say, well, he'll look good at the next level. It's just really hard. But I want to ask a recruiting guy if it were Arch Anderson. First of all, that'd be a much better name. Alliteration. I feel like all athletes should have alliterative names.
Yes.
I think the best people in life have alliterative names. Marty Mush, stuff like that.
Yeah, best person in life. Yeah.
Is that all the news?
Yeah. I was just looking at 2019 quarterback rankings. Spencer Rattler, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Ryan Helinski, who really just didn't work out, Graham Mertz, Sam Howell, Dylan Morris, who's...
Oh, okay. Can we just slow down again? Start over. This is the top 10 quarterbacks in 2019. Just this has nothing to do with anything. I just want to do it. Who's number 1?
Spencer Rattler.
We'll see. He had a good first year. Last year took a step back. I'm anxious to see what happens with Spencer Rattler of South Carolina. Continue.
Bo Nix.
We'll see again. I certainly don't think he should have been the number 2 quarterback coming out of high school. Go ahead.
Next up is Jaden Daniels. He's a 4-star. This year there's 6 5-stars, but this year 2019
there were 2.
There's only 2.
It was Rattler and Bo Nix.
Yes, and then we go Jaden Daniels.
Okay, tell me the rest of the top 10 quickly.
Ryan Helinski, Graham Mertz, Sam Howell, Dylan Morris, Talia Tagovailoa, Tyson Ponomic. He went to
Clemson and he's going to Georgia Tech now.
Max Duggan,
the TCU.
Yep, and then a bunch of guys.
Taquan
Robertson, who's at UConn now.
So I'd say the best guy out of that was ranked, 5th, 6th? Where was Sam Howell at?
6th.
Yeah. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I have 10 questions, and I'm just going to pose the question, and then you and I are going to answer it. All right, these are rhetorical questions. I think if you boiled the 2022 college football season down into one soup, these are the 10 ingredients.
I'm really interested to see what these 10 ingredients are, though.
I think if you answer these 10 questions, you figure out the 2022 football season. All right, starting with number 1. Can Ohio State overcome being soft? They are good enough offensively. They might have 2019 LSU, 2020 Alabama. I think 2022 Ohio State belongs with those. They have a top 3 running back, Travion Henderson, a top 3 quarterback, C.J. Stroud, a top 3 receiver room with Jackson Smith and Jigba, a top 3 offensive line, and they might have the top 1 of all of those, but I'm saying top 3 to be conservative. They're going to be elite offensively, but they didn't lose games last year, and they lost 2 games. Then they could have lost a couple more, and it was all by the same recipe. Teams ran it down their fucking throat. Minnesota would have beat them in week 1 if Ibrahim didn't get hurt. They were on the way to doing it. He gets hurt. They win that game. Oregon ran it right down their throat. Michigan just threw the playbook out and said, we're just going to hand it off.
Even Tulsa ran it down their throat.
Yeah, and, Utah got them pretty good. They ended up beating Utah. But every time they gave up a lot of points, it was because teams were just lining up and saying, we're tougher than you, and we're knocking it down your face, and there's nothing you can do about it. Ohio State is not historically a soft program. This isn't Oklahoma or USC. This is a team that usually has toughness, and I don't know where it was last year. Is this a Ryan Day problem? Is this a problem that's going to persist? If they don't get tougher, they'll get beat, and they're too good to get beat. I think this is one of the 2 best teams in college football this year, them and Alabama. They're both peaking this year. I think Ohio State is, if they're number 2, it's by eyelash, but I think they should be the favorite to win the national title behind Alabama. But they were soft. Yeah. And they overcome being soft.
Last week, we drafted the most important players / coaches to the 2022 college football season, and I picked Jim Knowles in the second round because I think his transformation of this defense, if it happens, is going to be massive.
Well, he took an Oklahoma State defense that did not have star power
into a top 10 defense.
And made it into a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
He's going to have star power in Columbus.
A lot of stars.
Harrison, just all up and down the roster.
Jack Sawyer.
So can they not be soft? If they come out and you can't run it down their throat and you can't dictate what their defense is, I don't know if they're beatable this year. Even Alabama might be able to beat them, but I assume there's going to be some element of softness still there because once it gets in your program, it's hard to get it out.
We'll see it in week 1 because they are playing a team that I guess you would label as kind of strong.
A talented team, sure. I Notre Dame's got their own issues right now. Yeah. They're going to be a good team, but boy, I'd hate to open up in Columbus.
I'd hate to open up in Columbus, specifically with quarterback questions.
Kyron Williams is gone too, right?
Yeah.
All right. That's question number 1. Question number 2. What if Caleb Williams isn't great? A lot of everybody's hopes and dreams for USC this year are projecting what they used to be onto a program that hasn't been that in a long time. And they're doing it because they're bringing in a great coach and a great quarterback. But what if he's not great? He had moments of greatness last year. He had the 400 yards, 6 touchdown game in his 3rd game. But towards the end of the season, he had a couple stinkers. He was awful against Baylor. They lost. He was awful against Iowa State. They won. But he was terrible in those 2 games. What if he's not great? Spencer Rattler, in his 2nd year with Lincoln Riley, took a big step back. Caleb Williams is the savior of USC football. What if he's just pretty good?
Yeah. He does have the weapons around him, though.
Yeah, but he's also he might be in a shootout every week.
You're not wrong. He's going to have to show up, but he does have Travis Dye to his right, and then he has Jordan Addison. He has Mario Williams, the wide receiver they brought over, and then a guy that's coming back for USC. I'm blanking on the name, but he's going to have the ability to show up. But if he doesn't show it with this offense, it's on him.
Right, correct, yeah. But he's got that burden of greatness that he hasn't earned yet, which is an odd burden. It's what Bryce Young had last year. He came through. It's what C.J. Stroud had last year. He came through. It's what DJ Uiagalelei had last year. He didn't come through. Like we have put great beside his name and just pencil and said, all right, well, he's going to earn it. He's going to get it. He'll be great. What if he's not? The whole balance of the West, the whole Lincoln Riley,
well, if Caleb
assume they're getting great immediately.
If Caleb isn't good,
they're not going to be good.
They're going to have a lot of issues because I think, a lot of issues. And they could be the story of the season just being failure.
Now, spoiler alert, probably going to be great.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be great.
And he did look good in that bowl game. I know it was with Oklahoma.
3 touchdowns, 358 yards, I think.
And he looked good, but there were
they beaten that game?
I was just was it Oregon? No.
It was Oregon.
It was Oregon.
2 UOs, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because Oregon looked like shit.
And they didn't care, and it was then Cristobal. It was after Cristobal left.
Yeah. It was two historic programs, no coach.
And Cristobal and Lincoln Riley, I think, no, they didn't do the press conference together. Bob Stoops did it with Cristobal.
By the way, when y'all drafted assistant coaches last week? Did anybody say Jeff Lebby, Oklahoma?
Nobody said. I was the only one who picked coaches.
Okay.
But Lebby is a guy that could have come in there.
I would say Lebby and then Mark Whipple going from Pitt to Nebraska.
I think if Mark Whipple can take what he did at Pitt and bring it to Nebraska, I mean, I'm not saying they can make national waves, but they could. Scott Frost here,
We're getting to Nebraska in a minute in one of these questions, but color me intrigued about Nebraska.
I think you said, was Nebraska one of your predictions that you had?
Nebraska's going to beat Oklahoma.
That's what it was.
I'm sorry, I'm wearing the shirt, but Nebraska's going to beat Oklahoma. It's in Lincoln. They are dying, desperate for a big win.
They really are.
And they're catching and like if you remember these two teams on field last year,
yes,
wasn't that big of a difference.
No, it
Nebraska's
was not.
right there. The quarterback kept making mistakes, but they were right there, and you get them at home. They just need some kind of light switch they can flip on, and Oklahoma is that switch this year. I think Nebraska's beating Oklahoma.
Adrian Martinez, by the way, can't stop taking shots at Nebraska. It's like,
well, Adrian Martinez needs to fucking stop.
I know that, yeah.
I'm sure it feels good to take shots at your old team, but they went 3-9 last year with you at the helm, buddy. Yeah. And if you're not at the helm, I'm thinking they're doing better than 3-9.
Yeah.
Question 3.
Here we go.
Of 10. What even is LSU? What are they? What will they even try to be? I was thinking about LSU because LSU is one of those teams that when they have a down year and you come into the preseason next year, they're ranked number 15. Why? Because they're LSU. Everybody always assumes they're going to be good because they have LSU talent. Everybody always assumes they're going to bounce right back because they're LSU. Well, they were awful 2 years ago after the national title. They were bad last year. They might be bad again. Brian Kelly is a good coach. Who are they trying to be? Who's the elite player? They got one elite player, Kayce Boutte.
Kayce Boutte, yeah.
He's elite. Ricks is at Alabama.
Yes,
Stingley's in the league. Who's their marquee defensive guy? They just got a bunch of guys. They got Boutte on offense. Their quarterback, this is like the 37th year in a row. We think it could be Miles Brennan, but it's probably going to be this other guy they brought in, which is Jaden Daniels. Which is he? And I don't know. LSU is to me not a. When I say this, it sounds crazy because of Joe Burrow. But they're not historically a QB-driven offense. They're an elite running back, elite receiver, and the quarterback does enough. Jaden Daniels feels like a guy that you give the ball to and let him make the decision 99% of the time. That doesn't feel like an LSU quarterback to me.
Well, Jaden Daniels also has a little bit of Jake Fromm in him, where we saw him as a freshman, like, oh my God, this guy.
Right.
But the past few years, not few, but a couple years, you've been like, what are you like?
Right.
And then we saw, obviously, didn't look like his teammates really liked him.
I don't think Arizona State is sad that he left. I don't, and if it's not him, is it Miles Brennan who just keeps getting a shot and keeps getting hurt? What is LSU? They will be predicted to go 9-3 based on what? What is it? What even are they? Are they going to be a pass first team? Are they going to be a run first team? Are they going to be a defense first team? Nobody has any fucking idea.
So they open the season against Florida State. That's going to be a good game.
By the way, I love the grift that these SEC teams have of playing these neutral site openers. LSU has a neutral site opener in New Orleans against Florida State, and Georgia has a neutral site opener against Oregon in Atlanta. So those are two nice neutral site games.
Those are very nice.
Very neutral.
Very neutral. You guys have them week 3.
LSU? Yeah, it's down there. I don't like that. But I mean, they got Florida State week 1.
Yep. Then they play an FCS team.
Okay, and then they play us.
Then they play New Mexico.
If I told you they started 3-0, you wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked.
If I told you they started 1-2, would you be shocked?
No, but I mean, I
assume they start 2-1. I assume they split us and Florida State.
I think, yeah, probably. I mean, I think LSU is probably going to beat Florida State.
They can go 3-0 there. That's fine.
And then they'll be 4-0 going into a game against Auburn.
Are they as good as Arkansas? No. Are they as good as A&M? No. I don't think they're as good as us. They weren't as good as us last year. They beat us on a fluke. But whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't even know what LSU is. Number 4. Is Clemson done? At the highest level of the sport, are they done? Now, they're going to be elite defensively this year. They're going to be great. They've got Brees. They've got Murphy. I don't know how to say Brees' name.
Brian Brees, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. They're going to be elite defensively. They've got so much talent there. But offensively, they just kind of look like they got Jag syndrome.
And
They
then
got a bunch of just a guy.
yeah, so their best player on offense is who? Shipley?
Yeah, the running back.
Yeah,
Fine.
he's fine. Yeah.
But they don't have, like 9 years ago, remember the receiver room that had
Justin Ross,
you're talking recently. I'm talking about way back when they had Watkins and Hopkins and Martavis Bryant.
Yep.
And all those guys.
And then they had CJ Spiller.
And they just kept guys like that in the program all the way through T. Higgins and Justin Ross a couple of years ago. Now, who do they have that scares you? Nobody. I think they'll be good. I think they'll be 9-3, 10-2. But they're replacing their offensive coordinator. Venables, I think, probably was more responsible for their success than a lot of people. I mean,
just looking at their receivers, I'm like,
they don't have anybody, and their defense is going to be good. But Brent Venables was the heart of that program for a long time. He's not there anymore. And once you lose your heart, I don't know, man. If they don't get back into playoff contention this year, I think they might be done as a playoff contender.
Yeah, they do. The good news is for Uigalele or Cade, they are returning a lot on the offensive line, but like their receivers I'm looking at right now, Joseph Nada, who I think's the brother of that Nada who played at that big tight end at Georgia, and then EJ Williams, Bo Collins, Davis Allen is their tight end. I've never heard of these guys. Like, they're not very good. They're not even some of them.
This isn't T. Higgins. This isn't Justin Ross. This is just this is like South Carolina's receiver room. And they haven't been recruiting.
These aren't freshmen, by the way, either. They're sophomores and juniors.
They haven't been recruiting at the top 3 level. They're like
top 10, top 15.
This year was like 12th or 13th.
Yeah, it was not great.
Fine, would please me, but not them. All right, number 5. Was Michigan a one-hit wonder? The more I look at it,
you think so?
The more I think they're not.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The more I look at it, the more I think Michigan's got staying power. Their defense is going to take a step back, and Ohio State's going to thump them. Those two things I feel sure about. Their defense will be worse, and Ohio State's going to thump them. But thinking that Michigan's going from a playoff to back to like 8-4 or something like that, I think they could go 11-1. I think they maybe go 10-2. Like, their offense is going to be really fucking good. They got the tight end all back. Their receivers, they had a couple of injuries last year, but they got Anthony back. They got Ronnie Bell back. They got bunch of great
Cornelius Johnson.
Bunch of great receivers. They have both quarterbacks back.
Roman Wilson's back.
Cade McNamara is steady as she goes, and J.J. McCarthy has that little extra.
Their offensive line is
very good. Their running backs, Blake Corum is back. He might be the best running back in the Big Ten, him and Travion Henderson. So
they love Donovan Edwards, too.
They're going to score a lot of points. They're going to be really good offensively.
So who do you think the quarterback's going to be?
I think McCarthy eventually takes it. I think maybe Cade starts week 1 or something like that. But eventually, you got to stop settling for doubles. Eventually, you got to swing for a home run. Like, I understand last year, because your defense was so good, because your offensive line was so good, you could have Cade in there and just managing the game and be fine. And there were a couple times he didn't just manage the game. Like against Michigan State, he was elite. But McCarthy has a higher level of skill set. I think eventually you gotta roll the dice and see what you got there.
I am a little concerned about the defense.
Yeah, no, defense is not going to be nearly as good
because they lost a lot, and they have talent replacing them. But
listen, you don't lose. I don't know what round Ojabo went in. Did he go in the first round?
I think he was in the second because Ojabo. You remember he tore his Achilles in the pro day.
Yeah. But you don't lose 2 elite pass rushers and be the same unless you're like Alabama. All right, question number 6. Who is Cincinnati this year? Who is the group of 5 team that makes it a conversation? I think this is easy.
BYU.
BYU, they were what? I think either 10-2 or 11-1 last year. They returned pretty much. I think they returned 90% of their team. And
they return a lot.
Have you seen their schedule? Pull their schedule.
I got you.
They have the most interesting schedule in the country.
It really is.
They have a schedule that is going to tell the tale for a lot of teams.
All right.
A lot of teams' season could be derailed by BYU.
So they start off with South Florida, which should be an easy win for them.
Right.
But then they have Baylor.
They have Baylor coming off the Big 12 championship.
At home.
Then
they play Oregon.
Right.
At Oregon. Then they play Wyoming.
Uh-huh.
Then they play Utah State. Then they go Notre Dame, Arkansas, and then Liberty, East Carolina.
Stop you there.
Okay.
There's 4 teams out there that think they're going to be pretty good this year. Notre Dame, Oregon, Arkansas, and who's the other one? Baylor. BYU could screw them all up.
Oh, 100%.
Like where do they play Arkansas?
They play Arkansas and BYU.
Arkansas is going to be in the middle of an SEC season.
I know,
they play them in like October, right?
They play them on October 15th, it looks like. Yep.
October 15th. You've already played Texas A&M. You've already played, I think, maybe Mississippi State. You're like in the middle of your SEC schedule, and you got to go to Provo, Utah to play a bunch of 28-year-old dudes with 2 kids. They could fuck Arkansas season up. They could fuck Oregon season up. They can fuck Baylor coming off the Big 12 championship. Baylor with a new quarterback. Week 2, they're going out to fucking Provo?
Yeah.
If BYU goes 3-1 of those games, because remember a couple of years ago, they started out 9-0, 10-0 the COVID year, but then they had to play Coastal because their schedule was so god-awful.
Yep.
They had to add Coastal. They ended up losing it. But this is a schedule that if you go 11-1 against it, I think you're in the mix for maybe not playoff, but certainly close to it.
I think if you go 11-1 with this schedule, you are without a doubt in the mix to be the G5 representative in the year 6.
I think almost a lock.
Yeah, I don't know
Unless
how you
Cincy
won.
does something that I don't see him doing this year, because Cincy also plays Arkansas. Arkansas' schedule is weird.
Arkansas
opens with Cincy, and then they play BYU in the middle of October.
The Arkansas, and they're always, you know how there's these graphics that come out, schedule ranking. They're always top 5.
Yeah.
And that's because you got to play
in the SEC West.
But now we were talking about Cincinnati.
Right.
Who's going to be the quarterback? I think they picked up a transfer.
Well, they have one guy that's been in the program for a while, and they got a highly recruited guy. It'll be interesting to see I'm more interested to see how they replace the two
Ben Bryant,
the 2 defensive backs, Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant, because they were elite.
They were truly elite.
But I think BYU's the Cincinnati of this year. I think they're the only choice. I don't know another G5 team that could do it.
I don't think Coastal is going to be good, but nothing that we would see that would put them in that ranking that we saw them during the COVID season.
My next question, number 7. I don't mean to offend people in Lexington or Paducah or Bowling Green or other places. What's with the Will Levis hype?
All right, so
what is with the Will Levis hype? Tell me what's with the Will Levis hype, because you look like, I can see it in your face, you're buying into it.
Oh no, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not selling it though.
Kentucky quarterback Will Levis is getting hyped that he is a potential first-round pick, that he is one of the best quarterbacks in college football this year. What is with this?
I'm with you. I don't know. I think he's good, but so he's not going to have Wan'Dale Robinson this year.
13 times he has taken the field as Kentucky's quarterback. 8 times he's taken the field as Kentucky quarterback against an SEC opponent. Do you know how many times against an SEC opponent Will Levis threw for more than 200 yards? Not 300, Jack, 200. Do you know how many times in 8 games he threw for more than 200 yards?
No.
Once.
And who was
One
it
game.
against?
It was
Andrew?
No. I think it was in a 48-45 shootout against Tennessee. He threw for like 350 yards against Tennessee. But otherwise, he threw for like 79 yards against Florida, 150 against Mississippi State, 130 against somebody. Like, he had bad numbers against a lot of teams. He had one game where he was 7 for 17 for like 75 yards. Like, it's a good program, and I like what Stoops has built. I have no idea why people can watch what he did last year and say this is one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
People are obsessed with him, specifically mock drafters.
Why? Where is it? What is it?
All right, you know what would be fun? When we get onto the topic of quarterbacks, how many quarterbacks do you rank higher than Will Levis this year? Do you think you could get 20? From a college football perspective, you're not
I think I could get to 20. Yes, I think
you could get to 20.
I think I could get to 20 comfortably.
Would you rather have Tanner Mordecai this year at SMU or Will Levis?
Well, let's just go through it real quick.
Okay.
Because I know in the SEC I got him like 6th or 7th, and I think that's being charitable.
You have
so in the SEC I have him behind Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker, KJ Jefferson, Will Rogers, Stetson Bennett. Am I missing? Oh, I got him behind Rattler too. So that's 6.
Yo, Za.
We got to turn this mic on for you.
Can you turn on Katie's mic? You don't have to.
Not behind Stetson.
You don't have to.
Oh, do I have Levis behind Stetson?
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
You don't have to change the video.
Just camera. Just mic.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, Katie.
Hello, Katie.
Welcome.
We don't have a camera for Katie, but she's
Okay.
Oh, look at Za switching. Relax. Yeah, so that's 6 in the SEC, and in the ACC, I think he'd be behind at least 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah,
I like Van Dyke better. I like I
like Malik Cunningham better.
I like Malik Cunningham
you like
better.
Hartman better.
Devin Leary.
Yes, you like Devin Leary better.
Yeah. So that's I'm at 10 in 2 conferences, and I haven't even said
like
the best players in that conference. Phil Jerkovich, I like him.
Brandon
better.
Armstrong, you like better.
I do.
And then you go in the Big 12. You have to look at. You definitely. I'd rather have Dylan Gabriel this year.
Yep.
And I'd rather definitely have Quinn Ewers.
I'd rather have Caleb Williams. I'd rather have Tanner McKee at Stanford. And we're missing so many. Like we haven't even got to the Big 10. C.J. Stroud, yeah, I can get to 20, no problem.
And then Pac-12 we get to
Caleb
would you rather
Williams.
have Dorian Thompson? I know you had a tweet about him. That was a funny tweet.
The fact that Dorian Thompson-Robinson's still at UCLA is
He's going to be there forever.
Question number 8. Which former power that's stirring a little bit can break through and be a little back this year? The question is Texas, Nebraska, Tennessee, Florida State, or Miami? Texas 5-7 last year with a loss to Kansas. Nebraska 3-9, Tennessee 7-6, Florida State I think 5-7. I don't. And then Miami actually had a decent little year. Who's closest out of that group, or who do you think, if you look up at the end of the year, who do you think had the best season?
Texas or Miami, but I think
all of them are like eligible for this. I think
100%.
Nebraska could
Why
have a big
Nebraska?
Huh?
They could be a big.
I see Kayce Thompson. What else? What other pieces?
I think they were really good. They were a really good team last year that had a really bad record, and I think it flips this year. I think they win 8 games. I think they're defensively they're pretty good. They got dudes. They just need a quarterback who doesn't blow games for them. And I think Kayce Thompson is one of the most given up on quarterbacks I've ever seen. Like, he was fine for Texas, and he was just given up on. Absolutely. So I think Nebraska. Now, I wouldn't put him at the top of this list. I like Texas a lot, and he's right. I like Miami a lot. Like, Miami's got a lot of dudes too, and they got the best quarterback out of this group.
So looking at Nebraska's schedule, Northwestern.
Yep.
They have to play North Dakota.
Yeah.
And Georgia Southern. So they could start 3-0. Then they have the Oklahoma game.
If they start 3-0 going to Oklahoma, that's the biggest game of the weekend.
And then let's say they lose to Oklahoma, whatever. Then they have Indiana, Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say they're 5-1.
Yep.
Then they have a stretch against Purdue, Illinois, Minnesota, where those teams are decent. Not Illinois, but Purdue and Minnesota.
Yeah.
You could find 100% 8 wins in there.
Easily. I think you can definitely win 8 games in Nebraska. I think that if they win 8 games, and if they just beat Nebraska, if they beat Oklahoma, all bets are off. I think Scott Frost is now safe, and he's building his program. If they lose to Oklahoma, especially if they lose comfortably to Oklahoma, then he's still in trouble.
His buyout is halved on October 1st.
Really?
Yep.
That's nice.
$7 million, and they had 8 wins for 8 or less points last year.
All right.
I mean, 8 losses.
Yeah, sorry. That.
All good.
Question number
Close enough.
9. Who is this year's Kenny Pickett? Who's a guy who's been in college, who's just been fine. And if you look over the last couple of years, this has happened a couple of times. Kenny Pickett last year had been there, had thrown for 13 touchdowns, 9 interceptions multiple years in a row, and then turns into, bam, first-round pick, awesome guy, gets his team to a New Year's Six bowl. Kyle Trask at Florida 2 years ago was a Heisman candidate. He had just been a guy before. Joe Burrow had just been a guy and then turned into the best quarterback we'd ever seen. It's happened 3 years in a row. Who could that guy be this year?
Kayce Thompson has, I forget its name, but Pitt's OC is now in Nebraska.
Whipple.
Yeah.
Mark Whipple.
You know who it could really be? And he's just been a guy, but it is within the cards that JT Daniels has an amazing season. Oh, sorry, did I? I didn't know, folks, but I think I took
okay. That's all right. That's all right.
Isn't Cam Rising your?
Huh?
Isn't Cam Rising your dark horse? You've been talking a lot about him.
He's not my dark horse, but
I think I wouldn't even say he's a dark horse. Like, people are like pretty.
I think JT Daniels is a fantastic example of this. I think JT Daniels, and people refuse to remember this, but when he was the starter at Georgia a couple years ago,
they were good.
He was really he was rolling there for about 6 weeks, and then he got hurt, and then they had the bowl game against Cincinnati. They won. But he was fucking rolling. Like, he's good. I think JT Daniels could be that guy. Does Will Rogers count?
No,
because he's good.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some names now that could really you could say I don't want to say DJ Uigalele, but like he could have something that pops out.
I got a name.
I have a take for that.
What?
I don't think DJ is going to be the starter halfway through the year.
Think Cade will take his job?
Yep.
How about Peyton Thorne of Michigan State?
Okay, yeah.
He's better than we give him credit for.
Yeah, he's actually not bad. And he showed it in the bowl game, too.
He
can throw a good ball.
Graham Mertz is another one that we've kind of given up on that I think he could show up big this year.
If Devin Leary has a run game.
Yeah, but Devin Leary had 35 touchdowns and 5 interceptions last year.
But I feel I know in the offseason people are starting to cycle back, but I think he's starting to get some grumblings, but I don't think he's been like fantastic. He's not dual yet.
All right, let's transition right now. So it's time to talk quarterbacks. Did you bring your homework?
Yes.
Is that what's colorful on your screen?
No, that's my I have a cheat sheet of all the head coaches, QB1, OCDC, color-coded by who's new, who's second year. I gave you a copy. It was on your desk at some point.
Well, what I like to do when I was bored and grieving recently, I take a notebook out and I just write down every team in football and name their coach and their quarterback.
I have a Quizlet.
Yeah, so that's something I do.
I think Jaden Daniels could be it, but I mean, like, if we want to go back to LSU, like, Miles Brennan could really break out.
What about Max Johnson?
Max Johnson
At A&M now?
I mean,
if he wins.
A name that we brought up earlier in the show, Adrian Martinez could turn it on at Kansas State. I don't see it happening, but he's in that conversation.
I feel like Adrian Martinez and Malik Cunningham, they're the two I feel like we don't know their true potential because they had no one helping them. Like, I used to think Malik Cunningham
we know.
But
Did we ever talk about Max Johnson's name also meaning most penis?
Nope. You would. Welcome back, Brandon.
Max Johnson, most penis, yeah.
What's that mean?
Maximum Johnson. Hey, girl.
Are you surprised by
Max
this, Jack?
Johnson tonight? That's what I would be saying to girls.
We should get a NIL deal with him and make that.
Yeah. Could we do that? Is he a Barcelona?
What about Bo Nix? I can figure out.
Bo Nix kind of counts for this, too. Like, Bo Nix.
100%.
Bo Nix was not bad last year, and we kind of people act like he was, and now he's changing coasts. Like, we'll see. And last question: does Georgia drop off, and how far?
So you just answered the question with the second question.
Oh yeah, they're definitely dropping.
But if you drop off from national championship, it's not that hard. Like,
right.
But do they make the college football playoff this year?
I don't think they're a playoff team.
Okay, I
think they're a 10-2 team. I think they're going to drop off. And if you've seen my Twitter, Georgia fans can't handle that thought at all. They can't handle being told, I think you're going to be very good. I don't think you're going to be a playoff team or a national title team. They can't handle it. They just went after me with both barrels. Their counter is the defense will be worse, but it'll still be a top 15 defense. Fair enough. I'd say they've recruited a high enough level. Their other counter is, and the offense will be great. What? Really? What? Look, where is it on offense? Running back wise, they're fine. Like they don't really scare you that. I mean, they don't have Travion Henderson. They got Milton and McIntosh. Like they're fine. Quarterback, they're fine. Receiver, George Pickens is gone. I know he only played 3 games, but the other guys at Alabama,
they got Adonai Mitchell, Kadonis.
Yeah, where my magazines?
Brock Bowers.
Bro, the tight ends are elite.
Oh, people are losing their mind over Brock Bowers.
Tight ends are elite.
Well, he's that good.
And they also think Eric Gilbert is going to be great, and that's stupid. You can't count on Eric Gilbert. He hasn't proven he can play a meaningful snap yet.
You can't even count on him for like training camp.
Right. So I just don't see Georgia's offense taking a big leap, and I think the East takes a big step forward this year. I think the East is, while not great, Tennessee's up a little. Kentucky's up a little. South Carolina's better than they were last year. Florida, we'll see. Missouri's up a little from last year. Vanderbilt's trash. So I don't know. All right, y'all want to transition to quarterbacks?
Sure.
Georgia. Yeah, I'm just looking at their.
So another name for the next Kenny Pickett, Graham Mertz.
You said that.
Oh,
You were here
excuse me?
too.
Whoops.
I said it right here. I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Look,
Reach your hand out. We're close enough to touch.
Welcome back, Brandon.
And you didn't.
He did. Yeah, he did say.
I was reading more.
In your little color coded thing.
Yeah.
All right, so Brandon, you're playing with something down there.
I am. I'm actually knocking
Play
on
hard.
wood. Knocking on wood. That's to represent my penis.
Yes, I assume.
There's nothing better than a hard penis. There really isn't. It's a breathtaking thing to behold.
It's really important for the future of
mankind.
Humanity.
civilization.
All of us. We all depend on penises, whether we know it or not.
And they gotta be hard. Let me tell
They gotta
you.
be hard. There's nothing better. There's nothing worse than getting to a moment where you need a hard dick and you got a soft dick.
Damn.
But need a hard dick, soft dick doesn't work. You can't get things done with a soft dick. That's why people like Roman exist. Because if you're sitting there with your significant other or your lady or your whoever and y'all need to have fun, make sure that thing lasts. Make sure that thing is ready to go all 4 quarters. You can't be going a quarter and a half.
Mm-mm.
What was that?
You can't be.
Okay.
I was like hyping you up, like in the background.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have stopped. You got to be going 4 quarters with this thing. You got to be going all the way.
You want to be
full
ended
game.
in the third,
And
going.
By the way, sometimes you need overtime, and Roman Swipes is going to help you get to the goal line and score because your penis will be hard
And
it
win.
won't get soft. And they're clinically proven. You just swipe it right on the old penis there, and this is a cowbell. This isn't an actual.
Listen to this study.
Those look very small.
Studies show that on average, after 1 month of using swipes, men last 3 minutes, and after the second month, 5.5 minutes. That's a 340% increase. Science.
5.5 minutes. That's like my last 7 years combined. Anyway, it is GetRoman.com. You go to GetRoman.com/Walker. You get $5 off your first purchase.
No, you get $5 off when you choose a monthly plan.
Yes, you do when you use GetRoman.com/Walker. Good luck, penises.
Sorry, I said $5 off. I got better news. It's
even better.
$5 for the first month when you choose a monthly plan.
Look how dumb we are.
Yeah, but that's better news for you. You get a better deal. GetRoman.com/
Walker. All right. So, Katie, you're not on camera.
I'm okay.
Huh?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, relax.
Oh, she is.
Now you're on camera.
Oh, God.
You look fine.
I'm sitting up. Okay, Zaw, thank you.
So, hold on. Can we get Katie back on camera real quick?
At least
What is it that bothers you?
About what?
Can we talk football?
What happened?
Well, she doesn't like being on camera right now.
No.
Oh,
I don't care about being on camera. I don't know. You guys are more entertaining. I'm here to ask questions.
No, I mean, I'm more entertaining.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't just lump Jack in with me.
that's true.
I'm Brandon Walker. Okay, Zah, back over here.
Let's talk
Brandon's
football.
talking. Daddy's talking now.
Oh.
Daddy's talking. All right, so I was telling him this is going to be, I wanted to go over quarterbacks. I want to talk quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And we did. I put a roughneck question out there that I'm going to have to get to in the end, but we can go 20 minutes on quarterbacks right here. So I said every conference, I want your most important quarterback to their team, the best quarterback in the conference, the most disappointing guy who's being set up for disappointment this year, the dark horse who can come out of nowhere and be great, and the most interesting newcomer. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
We will
Yes. Yes, I'm also ready.
say, yes, ready, sir.
Don't push it.
Okay. Speaking of, can we shut that door?
I got
left
you.
the door a little open so I can hear Pete's conversation out there. Pete does not have interesting enough conversation for me to be hearing. Ain't that right, Zah?
That's damn right.
Pete sucks. Let's start in the Atlantic Coast Conference. That's a conference that you're familiar with, Katie.
Unfortunately.
By the way, I was pulling for both your baseball teams.
You're so kind.
You blew it against Arkansas, and then you blew it against Stanford.
At least we made it to Super Regionals.
I'm the defending national champion.
Where do you end up this year?
I'm the defending national champion.
It's 2022.
I'm a reigning
2021.
national
It's this
champion.
year.
I have a national title. See this ring? That's my wedding ring. But if it wasn't my wedding ring, it would be my national championship ring. In the ACC, who is the best quarterback in the Atlantic Coast Conference this year? And I don't think this is – I think this could go one – I had like 3 or 4 guys here. I'll let you answer it first. Who's the best quarterback in the ACC this year?
I'm gonna say Sam Hartman, but that's kind of by default. I think their top. The tier 2 is full.
Right.
There's no tier. No one really has established themselves above. I can't speak today, but I think there's like 6 people in tier 2 that have the potential to be the best.
Okay, you're gonna say Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman was great last year.
I think Sam Hartman, Tyler Van Dyke. I think DJ. I think Cade. I think
Devin Leary.
Devin Leary. If Devin Leary can run, number 1, hands down.
But you think you're gonna go with Sam Hartman as the best? That's fine.
Yeah, not my favorite pick of the 5.
Who do you have who's the best quarterback?
Brennan Armstrong.
Brennan Armstrong.
Yeah.
Jake Malasek got you.
Did Jake get to you?
No, I think.
Our resident Virginia idiot get to you?
No. I mean, I'm high on Tyler Van Dyke as well. I think he's pretty good. Obviously, Connecticut, just like Will Levis. But I'm going with Brennan Armstrong. I think there's a lot of answers to this question, though.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot. Yeah, I think any of the people said already could have been the answer. My answer, I believe, if I were basing it on numbers that they've already accumulated, he's not the best. But I think this year the best quarterback in the ACC would be Tyler Van Dyke for Miami.
Okay.
I think halfway through the season he reached a level. I mean, he went to Pitt and outdueled Kenny Pickett and beat him. Like, he is going to have weapons around him. I think Tyler Van Dyke is the guy that separates himself from the rest of the crowd. I mean, that guy can play. And looking back, we thought De'Ara King was the answer down there. We thought he could be something. They wasted a lot of time trying to make De'Ara King a thing in Miami when Tyler Van Dyke was the guy. And I think he's going to be the guy. I think he's the best quarterback in the ACC this year. Now, who's the most important quarterback to their team in the ACC? That's a different question.
I think this one has.
They all have similar answers, but it's a different question. Go ahead.
Devin Leary. I think for him, the most important question is if Devin Leary can get a ground game going. I just did the North Carolina State preview, and it seems they just lost huge 92% of their rushing yards they lost.
Donovan Knight, I believe was his name, was the number 1 guy. I can't remember the number 2 guy's
Pearson.
name. But they were, they've lost that, but they got everything else back.
They have someone from Tennessee transferring in, and then Devin Leary had negative 74 rushing yards.
But those are
I know it's sacking, but it's still showing like he lacks.
He's not moving the ball down the field with his legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But if NC State is going to be, if they're going to take a step, if they're going to go from 9-4, whatever they were, I think they went 9-3, and then
9-3.
If they're going to go from 9-3 to 11-1 or something like that, he has to be the guy. So yeah, I think that one.
So. They've only had one 10-win season or double-win season ever in the history of the program, and they're going to have it, but UCLA got COVID.
Who's the most important quarterback in the ACC to his team?
So I think Devin Leary's a really good answer. I think even a Garrett Schroeder at Syracuse is really important to their team because, I mean,
they've got nothing. Yeah,
you want to talk about a guy that has his seat's incredibly hot. It's Dino. And I think Garrett, obviously, he has a chance to really take it to the next level. But I think I would put down Devin Leary.
I would say it's Sam Hartman.
Okay, yeah.
Sam Hartman's are you dying, by the way?
I don't know why. It was like some gas, but I'm good.
I think Sam Hartman, and this could be Leary, it could be any of these ACC quarterbacks who kind of have the team on their back. But Sam Hartman has the biggest load on his shoulders, I think. If Sam Hartman want to go out, I think Wake Forest just falls apart. I think they're fine, but I think they're
6-6.
They're a 6-6 team, and I think they go 10-2 with him. Like, I think Sam Hartman is, and he's been there a while. Like, he's been through the wars. I think he is. Remember when he had the quarterback battle with the guy that went to Georgia?
Yeah, Jamie Newman.
That seems like that was the first year of this podcast, I think. Jamie Newman fell off the face of the fucking earth.
Jamie Newman was people were saying he was going to be a first-round pick. He was like an NFL
go to Georgia. He's going to be in the Heisman race.
He's in the USFL now.
Yeah, he just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Who could be the most disappointing quarterback in the ACC this year? Katie Stats.
I have 2 ideas. I think Jeff Sims is probably, like, when you say most disappointing, because I think earlier you
can interpret it however you like.
Earlier you said who's like set up the most for disappointment.
Right.
It's between Jeff Sims and Garrett from Syracuse. Syracuse offensive line sucks.
Yeah.
It's been really bad for a bit, and then there's just nothing around Jeff Sims at Georgia Tech. But to pick one, I'm going to go Jeff Sims.
And you, the most disappointing in the ACC.
In the ACC.
That's the conference we've been doing for
Yeah. I think it's going to
I could go.
Yeah, you can go. My answer.
I guess I can't.
I think
go.
most important and I think it could be Phil Jerkovich.
Wait, most disappointing?
Yeah.
I think it could be too. I don't think it will be. I think he'll be fine. But he is getting a lot put on his shoulders. Like when he played, they averaged 31 points. When he didn't, they averaged 17. What are you laughing at?
I'm shocked at the answer. I mean, I get the point, but I'm surprised.
His numbers were like not great.
He was injured a lot of last year.
I know, but before he got injured is what I'm saying. Like he could be good. I'm just saying he is being assumed to be really good, and he hasn't put that on the field.
How many quarterbacks are we going to put ahead of Phil Jerkovich? Malik, Sam.
I think 5 or 6, but I got to get to my disappointing.
Also, Jamie Newman's in the CFL.
I got to get to my same thing. I got to get to my disappointing guy. I think it's Brendan Armstrong. Great numbers last year, great, but he's got the Sam Howell thing happening this year. You know how many offensive line starters he has back?
Oh, okay, fine. Sorry, you went the right way.
You know how many offensive line starters he has back?
I haven't prepped it yet.
Bagel, 0. All of their offensive line, their entire offensive line, gone. Starting over up front. He is, skill position-wise, he's got players around him, but they also changed offensive coordinators. They changed coaches. Like they've got a whole new thing around Brendan Armstrong.
Don't forget that they changed coaches.
Yeah, and then, like, Elliott is I guess he's a good offensive coach, but it's not like he did much for DJ last year. So I kind of think Brendan Armstrong has a lot going against him this year.
Without a doubt.
And the most exciting newcomer, which I don't know, not sure this topic is really needed, but in the ACC, I think it's pretty easy. Go ahead.
Cade Klubnik.
Klubnik from Clemson.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm interested to see how Slovis does.
It's got to be Slovis, right?
Yeah, that was.
Slovis is the starter. Slovis is picking up where Pickett left off. I don't know if pacing-wise this is good. I haven't done a show in 2 weeks. I feel like this isn't very good.
I told him that I think it's going pretty well.
No, I think it's good football talk. We haven't had it in a bit.
Okay. All right. I just don't. I feel like
You're just not in the groove yet.
I feel like it's dry. I'm not in the groove. Yeah. Big Ten. Who is the best quarterback in the Big Ten this year? That's easy. We all say
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Okay, so C.J. Stroud's the best.
Do we think he's gonna finish the year as the best?
Yes.
I think so. I don't see how he wouldn't. With Jackson Smith and Jigba, with the running game around him, with the offensive line, I just don't see who could even possibly overtake him.
I think it's harder to really tell talent. I mean, like I admit when Mac Jones, I was like, I feel like most people could do well, best offensive line, best everything.
Right.
It doesn't take much talent to look good, but I feel like he's close to his ceiling. Like there's not much room for improvement. I think we can see a lot more growth from other quarterbacks.
But could they grow enough to pass Ohio State's quarterback? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
He's the most talented quarterback in the conference.
Who is the most important quarterback to their team in the conference?
Aiden O'Connell.
Purdue.
Yeah. I also think he's the second best quarterback in the conference.
It's not a quarterback loaded conference.
No,
this year. At least not at the front end. So, explain Aiden O'Connell, which I love.
He's like I think he's a 6-year senior this year. It's due to COVID, injuries, and whatnot. He also, if you look at a lot of his stat, like I think Pro Football Focus has him as one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. He obviously is losing David Bell, but I think O'Connell is a guy that can take Purdue from a 6-6, 5-7 team to like 8-4. Obviously beating top 5 teams like he did last year team. So if he shows up like he did last year, Aiden O'Connell is the most important because I think his ceiling and floor are.
Who'd they take out last year? They took
Michigan,
Iowa out.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
And Iowa.
That's right. Yeah.
And not closely either.
Oh, they killed Iowa. Yeah. What about you? Who's the most important quarterback in the Big Ten?
Kind of chalk, but I think Cade McNamara. I think just everyone's. I mean, not necessarily for him, but as a team as a whole, because I think that everyone's looking to see if Michigan will reload, and obviously they had more defensive losses. But I think that the offense being together and slinging it.
You don't think the presence of the other quarterback bothers that at all?
Well, I thought it was going to be 50-50, but the more I hear, it seems like it's going to be Cade. But still TBD.
I think the most important quarterback in the Big Ten is Graham Mertz. I don't know if y'all know this. I'm working on this take too. Wisconsin might fall off. They might not be that good. Like their defense was elite last year, and they're bringing back nothing on that defense. They're starting over defensively pretty much. Offensively, they haven't blocked as well the last couple of years as they've ever blocked. Braylon Allen is now getting going at running back, and he's only 18 years old now. But if Graham Mertz takes a step forward, If Graham Mertz can take a step forward and be a good quarterback, he can keep him in the road. If he's the same guy he was last year, I think they could go 5-7 or 6-6. I think that's how bad they could be.
So he threw 11 interceptions and 10 touchdowns last year, and they returned the fewest starters of the Big Ten at only 8.
Right.
Or sorry, they were losing 8 of the 11. But then, so he completed 56% of throws against teams with winning records. Like, there's a significant drop-off versus good and bad teams.
And if he takes a step forward, they'll be so much better. And if he doesn't, they could really hurt.
Easy.
They can't rely on Braylon Allen for everything.
The most disappointing quarterback in the Big Ten, Jack.
I think it's going to be Sean Clifford.
I think it's Sean Clifford, too. I'll give my reasoning.
I think it's just Penn State he's going to disappoint again. It's just.
Here's what you're going to talk yourself into Penn State. You're going to talk yourself into their athletic talent.
Yes.
You're going to talk yourself into them being in games. You're going to talk yourself into this. You're going to talk yourself into that. And then in the third week of September, you're going to watch them play a game like, oh, fuck, it's Sean Clifford.
Exactly. No, you took the words right out of my mouth, said it much better than I was going to, but it's just going to be, again, oh, man, they have Sean Clifford. I think that they brought in a freshman this year. I'm blanking on his name. Maybe he steps up, but Sean Clifford's going to be the guy. They wouldn't have brought him back if they didn't think he'd be the guy, and I think he's going to be just blah. Like, he won't be bad, but he'll just be – he's not winning games.
It's Sean Clifford.
It's Sean Clifford, yeah.
Do you have a disappointing quarterback?
I was going to say either Sean Clifford or Graham Mertz.
And we go to Dark Horse, the guy who can come out of nowhere and be good in the Big Ten. I wonder if we go across the board on this. Go ahead.
Kayce Thompson.
Kayce Thompson as well.
Yeah, I think the guy you mentioned earlier in the show could happen, Peyton Thorne.
Peyton Thorne, Michigan State. Yeah, I like that one too. Now the most exciting newcomer at quarterback in the Big Ten, Katie Stats.
Kayce Thompson.
I guess I could have gone with that too. I decided to have different. I think Connor Bazelak's a good quarterback who went from Missouri to Indiana, which Indiana I don't really respect. I don't think they're going to be very good, but I think Missouri thought he was the future going into last year. They felt really good about him.
We didn't put him in our top quarterback rankings in that episode we did last year in the summer.
Out.
The Missouri fans were really disappointed in us.
Now he's in Indiana a year later.
Yeah, I think my answer is going to be Kayce Thompson, but he's interesting. Can he figure it out?
We go to the Big 12. Who will be the best quarterback in the Big 12
Can you say this in unison?
In 2022? Go.
Quinn Ewers.
The best quarterback in the whole conference?
I still think.
That's fine.
No, I mean, he's the one. I can't argue anyone else more than, basically.
I think you can make a serious argument for Dylan Gabriel. And Texas Tech really thinks they have a quarterback, too.
Tyler Shaw.
I got JT Daniels.
Okay.
I love JT Daniels. And this is, if you look at experience, you would say Spencer Sanders, but he's fine.
If he hasn't done it already, he's not going to do
it. He's not.
Yeah, he's not that guy.
Not the guy.
So you got to figure out who that guy is. Quinn Ewers could turn into that guy. JT Daniels, now that he has a chance and is landed, could be that guy. Whoever you said could be that guy. Like, I think it's JT Daniels. I think at the end of this year he will be the best quarterback in the Big 12. Who is the?
West Virginia has the only team in the Big 12 to return all starting offensive linemen.
Who is the most important quarterback in the Big 12 to their team? Jack.
Quinn Ewers.
Katie Stats.
I left this blank. Couldn't figure out, but
Is that what? Did you do that in college a lot, where you didn't know an answer to on a test question, you just left it blank and hope the teacher didn't mind?
Well, on it for this,
how did you write that noise out on the sheet?
BLEUGH. Well, I was
like Tyler Show's name.
Yeah.
I was honestly gonna wait to see what you guys did, because sometimes if I go last, I can put in a third name to
my most important one is
debate.
Is again JT Daniels.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, if West Virginia is to take any step forward, it has to be because of massive improvement at quarterback. And if they don't have massive improvement at quarterback, they're going to suck again, and their coach is getting fired. He literally holds his coach's job in his hands.
You think Neil Brown? Who do you think? I know it's a little secular. Like,
no idea.
Hottest seat this year, off the top of your head.
Big 12?
No, period.
Dino's way up there. Harsin. I think Harson's got the
Scott Frost has the hottest seat, I think, too.
Scott Frost is up there.
I think we should do we can do a ranking.
Oh, we'll do that. Yeah. We got plenty of time.
I'm excited. Team totals are starting to come out. I have some.
Who is the most disappointing quarterback in the Big 12 this year?
Spencer Sanders again.
That's who I have.
Both say that?
Yeah. Oh no.
Dylan? Okay.
That's
a good answer.
I think it's Dylan Gabriel. He is assuming the mantle of Oklahoma quarterback expectations. He is assuming the quarterback that is supposed to be in the Heisman race. He is assuming the role of the quarterback who's supposed to lead national title contender. I don't think he's that guy. I think he's fine. He's okay. Pretty good even. But I don't think he's Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray or even Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's any of those guys. I think at the end of the year, Oklahoma will go quarterback hunting because I don't think Dylan Gabriel's the guy.
I've started doing prep. When talking about quarterbacks, I've come up with a phrase like good, solid, thumbs up quarterback. Not great, not good. Just you know what, reliable, fine.
You feel good. You feel okay if he's leading your team out of the tunnel.
That's Dylan Gabriel. There's room to go either way, but I'm not not exponentially above or below the line. Just good, solid, thumbs up.
And who's the most exciting newcomer in the Big 12? It's Quinn Ewers.
Oh, no. Wrong school. Sorry. I had a brain fart. Move on.
Yeah,
Quinn Ewers, right?
Yeah.
How could it not be Quinn Ewers?
There's a lot of newcomers.
I think it's Dylan.
No, it could be Dylan. It could be Adrian, but it's going to be Quinn.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Dylan. Quinn, I think, is we all know it's exciting.
In the SEC, who's the best quarterback? Bryce Young, correct?
Yeah.
Bryce Young?
Yep.
Bryce Young. Who's the most important quarterback to their team?
Haynes King, or whoever wins that job.
Will Rogers.
I think it's Hendon Hooker.
Okay, yeah.
If he's not great, they're not gonna be very good. If Hendon, he had 31 touchdowns, 3 interceptions last year, and they went 7-6. He had an elite season, and he barely got him across the line as a bowl team. So if he doesn't take a step forward, if he's not 40 touchdown, 7 interception, 4,000 yards good, Tennessee might suck. That's how important he is. Now he can do it, and they can win 9 games. But if he doesn't, I don't think they can be very good at all.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What about you?
Can I change my most important?
Yes.
Jackson Dart.
What's that?
It's the same principle.
Yeah.
If Lane doesn't have a good quarterback, he's not going to have a very good offense.
Yeah.
And if Jackson Dart sucks, they might suck.
He's my most interesting newcomer.
Can we just agree not to do Ole Miss people?
All right, yeah. So then
former USC quarterback Jackson Dart's my most fascinating newcomer.
Where's he at this year?
Someplace in Mississippi.
He's Southern. Good for him. Who's going to be
Jackson State?
Who's the most disappointing quarterback in the SEC?
Jackson Dart.
TJ Finley.
You think he's going to play?
Exactly.
I hope not.
From last year,
like that. And it's Will Levis.
Yeah,
related to expectations from draft guys, it's Will Levis. I just don't see it.
Are draft guys listening to Kentucky fans though? I
think draft guys are going off on their own. They're doing it. They see 6'3" or 6'2", whatever he is. They see good arm. They see all these things. They say, "Bam, draft guy." But turn on the tape. It ain't there. All right. Dark horse. Dark horse in the SEC.
Will Rogers.
I got Rattler. Even though it's weird to do a dark horse, what if Rattler's good?
What did we see?
He was good 2 years ago.
2 years ago. What did we see last year that makes it?
He wasn't bad last year.
He
got benched.
He got benched, but Oklahoma
or the guy you're about to say is the best quarterback in the conference.
Oklahoma was weird last year. Oklahoma kind of fell apart around him too, and the coach wasn't all in it. I don't put all that on Rattler.
Rattler and DJ are two. I need to see it to believe it. I don't
think Rattler was as bad as DJ though.
But both of them had those moments. They're okay, this is the guy, and then it fell apart. So you still have that fleeting sense. He did it once, he can do it again.
All right, what about you?
Most exciting?
Yeah. No.
Dark horse?
Disappointing. No. Oh. Dark horse?
Dark horse. Anthony Richardson.
Backflips. Backflip.
He was my most interesting newcomer, and I guess he's not a newcomer.
Yeah. No.
But he's a new starter.
AR-15, yeah.
Yeah, I
that's the coolest nickname in all of college football.
That is a good nickname.
I'm trying to ban it.
Bumper pool.
Did you see last week?
What part?
Jack in the U-Haul truck.
Oh God, no. Oh, no wonder
the
photos look familiar.
No.
It was pause. Pac-12. Let's run through it. Best quarterback in the Pac-12. I got Cam Rising, Utah.
I think it's gonna be Caleb.
Yep.
Okay.
Caleb. Okay.
It's the same thing as ACC.
Most important to his team this year. It's Caleb Williams.
Yep.
If he's not good, most disappointing this year in the Pac-12.
Michael Penix Jr.
Who?
Michael Penix.
Indiana's quarterback last year.
He's at Washington State now.
Well, he's not going to
He's not gonna
play.
Cam Ward's there.
What?
Why? It's disappointing.
Okay, you're right. Sorry. I got Emory.
He ain't going to step on the field.
I got Emory Jones because between now and August, Arizona State fans are going to convince themselves,
Oh, right. Forgot about
he's
him.
going to be pretty good. And he's not. He's
Actually,
not very good.
can I change it to that one? Well, Michael
We'll take
Penix.
mine.
Michael Penix, I was looking at as a
take mine.
fine. Michael Penix, I'm sticking with that one. I'm looking
Oh.
at him as a player as a whole, like not just like Washington State.
Most exciting newcomer in the Pac-12. I got Cam Ward for Washington State.
Me too. Also, my most disappointing is
Knicks.
going to be Sam Horde. Hard.
I think Bo Nix for most interesting newcomer.
Washington. Most interesting newcomer is Cam Ward, without a doubt.
Oh, Bo Nix could work.
Can he find consistency?
So I went on Twitter and I said to the Roughnecks, and I apologize for my performance today. I'm just off.
Tanner McKee is an interesting guy from Stanford. You mentioned him a little bit earlier in the
guy.
show.
Yeah.
5-star guy. And Stanford's another with David Shaw. He's kind of on the hot seat too.
Does he have enough pieces around him to be
That's a
successful?
good question. All right, so I'm gonna have I asked the Roughnecks a question, so I'm just gonna run through the question. We're
Also, notice how you said I. So is that you again admitting to the passwords?
thank you for tweeting this out.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Appreciate that.
Mm.
I don't have the password to the account. I don't know what.
Mm.
By the way, that was a good tweet the other day when
And then we faked them out by saying that.
when Ole Miss went to the College World Series and you tweeted the college
Who
baseball.
cares about college
Who cares about
baseball?
baseball? It was a good tweet. Good timing on that tweet too. It's like you were just waiting for it to happen. Like you came up with it 2 days earlier and decided. Roughnecks. We've got the return of Brandon Walker today. Hi. And the return of Ask the Roughnecks.
Wait, we asked them last week.
Have we had it since then?
No, so
So
it
it's
is
a
a
return.
return.
Our question was the biggest question entering the 2022 college football season. Is this what y'all asked last week?
No.
No.
Oh, yes.
Sean Murphy says, which Power 5 team will have the 2021 Pitt type of breakout season?
Damn. Oh, I think Nebraska could be up there with that.
What about Minnesota or Northwestern? Oh no.
Mississippi
Oh,
State,
no.
I guess, he's getting his cowbell.
Get the volume down.
Beat A&M last year on the road. Beat Auburn on the road. Had a couple of hiccups that the refs
Should have beat
fucked us.
Arkansas.
Should have beat Arkansas on the
Shoulda
road,
beat
but the
Memphis.
refs fucked us. Should have
Memphis
beat
on the road.
Memphis. Beat them. Like, really good.
Should have beat Ole Miss.
And by the way,
Say it.
don't tell anybody I said this.
Oh, I know what you're about to say. They're gonna beat. They're gonna beat.
Mississippi State's going to beat Georgia.
Yeah. I ain't say that. He did.
In November, Georgia plays Florida, then they play Tennessee. Then they come to Starkville. If you remember 2 years ago, Georgia was top 5 in the country, favored by 26 points, won by 7 in Athens. They don't adjust well to the offense. Okay, doesn't matter. Hurry up football. What's his name? At Just Posa. That's a frequent flyer. How well will Lincoln Riley do in year one, and what would constitute a good season versus a disappointment? Year one, a new spot is never easy, but Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison are two huge pieces to add. But defensively, they might be terrible. But I think anything less than 9-3 is disappointing. And even 9-3 might be disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, he's putting them on the map immediately. He's got the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a conference where you can sit there and say a 7-5 team's good. I think he's got to go 9-3.
And it's and he brought in more than just the quarterback. He brought in transfers across the board.
Can it bring up USC schedule real quick?
Yeah, I
Are
got
you
you.
watching the Mets game?
No, I was just looking at.
College baseball doesn't matter. Nobody likes college baseball.
Versus Rice at Stanford versus Fresno at Oregon State.
I hate that she says versus.
I don't like it either.
What am I supposed to say?
Say home to.
Versus isn't a word.
Fine. Home to Washington State, at Utah, at Arizona, home to California, home.
And I think they can win every game there except for at Utah.
What if the pieces don't fit? I'm not. I have
They
no.
got Notre Dame at home.
What if the pieces don't?
I think
come
USC
together?
is gonna be favored in every game they play this year outside of the Notre Dame game.
I don't think they'll be favored against Utah.
Isn't it at home though?
No, it's in Utah.
At Utah.
Okay, then never mind.
Sports Talk Paul says, which rivalry game will have an impact on the conference title race? Which conference title race? Could Ole Miss knock Mississippi State? Okay, he's done. All right. Saturday game day. Will Kansas hit the over on 2.5 game win total? I say yes. I think they're pretty good. One of my favorite things that happens this year is all the Oklahoma fans shitting on Texas for losing to Kansas. Like Oklahoma didn't get lucky as fuck to beat Kansas last year. Several teams got lucky to beat Kansas, and I think Leipold's fixing that. I think Kansas is coming on. I think Kansas wins 4 or 5 games.
All right, so they get one against Tennessee Tech. Then let's say they beat
schedule
Duke.
Doesn't look great.
Well, they play. They host Duke.
Just said that.
Mm-hmm.
To Tennessee Tech.
Did you just give up on saying the schedule out loud?
Oh, okay. I thought I was just leaving the bad one. So Tennessee Tech, at West Virginia, at Houston.
Yep.
Host Duke.
I think I'm 2-2 right now. I think I've beaten Duke and I've beaten Tennessee Tech.
Host Iowa State.
They could beat Iowa State. Iowa State's going to be garbage.
Oh, without Brock Purdy and
Without everybody. They lost more than anybody in the country.
host TCU.
I think TCU's going to be garbage. I think they could win both of those games.
I think even saying they're going to beat Iowa State's a good enough take. At Oklahoma. And
They'll lose that. They'll lose to Baylor.
at Baylor.
They'll probably lose Oklahoma State at home. They'll probably lose at Texas Tech. They might lose every other game, but I think I got 4. All right. Dalton Burge says, Burge. For CFB as a whole, I would say it's Clemson. That's not a question.
What?
I think Georgia falls off pretty hard this year, so the SEC should be Bama's. Ohio State should run the Big Ten. So the question, will Clemson return to form or no? I say they don't.
I think it's going to be, when I checked, it was NC State plus 400 and then Wake Forest plus 800.
The winner of the ACC goes 10-2.
The division.
I don't think you're going to have a national title contender out of the ACC.
Okay.
I'd agree.
Yeah. For Mizzou, it's quarterback, says Dalton. Okay, he doesn't get the. Vandy says at M. Vandrill, what 4 teams make the college football playoff this year? We're not ready to make that prediction, but I think Alabama and Ohio State will be in any prediction that I make this year for sure.
I feel blindly you can say USC, but
I don't know. I got to come up with those other 2 teams because I don't know.
Also, I don't think Georgia's going to – Georgia always has to reload. I know it's a higher year this year, but they're used to doing that.
Sean Madole says, can Brent Venables transition from one of the best coordinators of the last decade to a successful head coach at OU? What would you consider to be a successful first season at OU? So anything less than 10-2 is a disaster at OU, right? No matter if he's a first-year coach or not.
He's at least need to make the Big 12 title game.
Yeah, if he goes 10-2 or better, I think it's a success because you transition into your guys. But if he goes like 8-4, it's a disaster. That's not fair to him, but it's true.
Yeah.
OU fans will freak out. And if Oklahoma went 8-4 and USC went 11-1, it'd be a fucking disaster.
So sorry, it's 1 game more than USC.
You think that?
If USC goes 3-7, but making up numbers, but Oklahoma has 4 wins, better season.
Oh, that would be a complete and total disaster.
But I think Oklahoma would still be like, we had a better season than USC.
Oh no.
Yeah, but at that point they would be so humbled and so embarrassed that they wouldn't even.
Okay, so
they
then
realize we need to stop worrying about fucking Lincoln Riley.
USC 7 wins, Oklahoma 8 wins.
Captain Khan says, is Brandon Walker going to come to a game at Army, or is he just going to say he wants to come for another season? Boy, I'd love to go see a game at Army. That sounds nice.
Play UConn this year.
Love to go to Army.
Again.
Where?
I think at Army again.
Mikey Stadium or Mitchie.
Mitchie, I
think it's Mikey.
I don't know.
Mitchie or Mikey?
I just picked one and said it.
Mickey or Mikey?
I think it's Mickey.
It's not Mickey.
Hans is screaming at his phone right now.
Is it Mitchie? I think it's Mitchie.
Uh-huh.
It's Mache. Mache Stadium.
No, it's not. Mache, like paper mache?
Fucking Wakans.
Oh.
What happens with Oklahoma State this season without Jim Knowles at DC? They're not as good defensively.
From Gino.
Great question, Gino Fornero. Gino says, who will be ranked higher at the end of the season, Oklahoma or USC?
USC.
USC has an easier path, definitely. So probably them.
I don't think either have difficult paths, but
I think the USC, the Pac-12 is more disparity. Can I say that?
Big 12 has a lot of disparity this year.
I would
a lot more question marks than disparity.
I don't know. I think they're going to be like dead even.
Disparity.
I think they're. Are y'all trying to say parity?
Yeah. Sorry.
Disparity is. God Almighty.
I asked, did I use it right?
No, disparity. You used that right.
Hayden Boucher says, will we have another Bama versus UGA showdown in the SEC championship game, or will another team from the East and West make a move and win their division? No, I think it's Alabama and Georgia again.
Who else?
I don't know that anybody. I don't think anybody's beating Alabama. or at least beating them twice. They'd have to lose twice. I don't think that's happening, and I don't think the East is good enough to knock Georgia off. Michael Salter, can Michigan run it back and repeat as Big Ten champs?
It'd be really difficult.
They can run it back and be good, but no, I don't think they can be Big Ten champs. I think Ohio State's too good this year. And you play them with the horseshoe. I just think it's Ohio State's year. Bryce Overby, can Clemson bounce back to join the elites? Do we start seeing side effects or significant progress from teams with multiple years of hammering the portal? Well, Michigan State's already done that.
Hey, Clemson had their first transfer.
By the way, Michigan State's going to do it again. You know that, right? I don't know how good they'll be. I don't know if they'll be in playoff contention. But they got Kenneth Walker last year. Jarek Broussard from Colorado is going to be incredible.
He was very good. He was their offensive player of the year, I think, last year.
Yeah, he's really fucking good. Coach Crone says, how many games in the season for LSU is regretting their hire? Could be immediately. If they were to lose to Florida State or not beat them by 3 touchdowns. If they beat Florida State 27-24, LSU fans might be freaking out. Isaiah Belcher says, as a West Virginia fan who's drinking the Kool-Aid, I'm wondering how much of an impact you think Graham Harrell will have as an OC. Feel like people are overlooking how much of an impact an actual OC could have for WVU. Fair enough. And he's got the quarterback.
Yes.
Yep.
Who and he recruited him at USC, didn't he?
Yes. Well, I don't know if he recruited him. I don't know how.
They're at the same time or some.
Ryan Nichols says, who will eventually be QB1 as Georgia runs it back as natty champs? Great question.
Stetson will get benched at some point this year.
No.
I look back at
Vandergriff.
Can you get much better offensively with a quarterback who has a definitive ceiling? Because he's got a ceiling. He is not an unlimited ceiling guy. I don't think you can improve that much with Stetson Bennett. I don't think you can get that much better with Stetson Bennett. I think he is what he is. If you have an elite defense, he can score 24 points and win you a game. 30 points, win you a game. What if he has to score 50 and win you a game? Is he winning that game? I don't think so. Not that I think many teams are going to be able to score that much.
Will Muschamp's son on the roster?
Is he? Oh, I know Will Muschamp is there.
There's a Jackson Muschamp from Columbia, South
I would
Carolina.
assume that's probably Will Muschamp's son. Stephen Monette says, is Texas back? With Michael Den Herder says, who was more to blame for all Nebraska losses in 2021, Frost or Adrian Martinez?
Equal?
I would say equal is the political answer. I think it is Adrian Martinez.
I look at Adrian and Malik Cunningham like the same. We don't.
No.
I watched that game.
Malik Cunningham's good.
Like that game against Michigan.
Yeah.
Tied at 29. Nebraska has the ball. They're driving. They can win the game with a field goal or a touchdown. The only thing that can't happen there is a turnover. Adrian Martinez fumbles. Michigan wins. Goes to the playoff.
I don't remember that game.
And he kept doing against Illinois. They had moments where and he just kept giving the ball up. I think he cost Nebraska a lot. Corey Richardson, does Lane Kiffin still have the golf ball? Probably not. Red AG 95, is the Pac-12 back, and does the SEC West have a quarterback outside of Bryce Young? Yeah. You got Will Rogers. They got KJ Jefferson.
So Malik Cunningham.
You have Jaden Daniels, who was, by the way, the best quarterback in the Pac-12, and he's now in the SEC. He might be the 5th best guy in the division. Corey Hanover, how quick in the season will USC falter, causing the media to do a 180 on them? I don't know. Spencer Shy says, what's the pole assassin been up to? I think she's in Omaha right now. Oh, she meant the other one. That's a funny joke.
No, it was good. I don't think she got it. I don't think.
Can you get it?
No, I was looking up
Can we run that
stats.
joke back?
Spencer
Shy says, what's the pole assassin been up to? I think she's in Omaha right now.
Oh, motherfucker.
The only reason that doesn't work is because Texas is also there, so the pole assassin could be in Omaha. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it is still
I
a
could
good
use
joke.
that as cover.
Yeah, exactly.
And Casey's like, what? And I'm like, what? She's probably there?
She's probably there, yeah.
Can Talia be a top 10 college football quarterback? There's a guy we haven't talked about.
I say disappointing.
I think he's good. Talia Tagovailoa at Maryland. I think he's very good. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I need to go look more.
How many points will Michigan beat Ohio State by this year? Negative 30?
Only thing with Talia is he turns the ball over a lot.
Does he? This is a good question. Jay Lumsden says, what team will have the chance to have the greatest parity record-wise? They could go either 11-1 or 8-5 or nothing in between.
Arkansas.
I think Arkansas is
yeah.
Florida?
Florida, LSU. No, I think LSU's probably set at like 7-5 to 10-2.
I
Probably.
think Florida could go from like 4-8 to 10-2.
I think Nebraska could go from 3-9 to 10-2.
Northwestern.
I think we could go from like 5-7 to 10-2.
100%.
Ole Miss. Ole Miss could go from like 9-3 to 3-9.
100%.
If that quarterback sucks, they're gonna suck.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Pittsburgh's like. Yeah. Yeah.
Zig Ziglar says, "What team that has never made the college football playoff has the chance to make it this year?"
USC. Well, sorry, never mind. Not never made.
I think USC.
No, they've never made the playoff.
I think they haven't made the playoff.
Okay.
That's a decent answer. USC.
Well, they had at some point.
I'm thinking.
Utah's never made it.
Oh, I think Utah's a better answer.
They have a
than
chance.
USC. I think Utah's a better answer than USC. I don't think in the SEC like there's anybody that really has maybe A&M outside chance.
NC State has that weird chance, like if they could somehow put something together. I mean, Texas hasn't made it. They have a shot to make the playoff.
NC State's defense.
Are you about to say
fucking hate
Mississippi
it.
State?
No, I was about to say Michigan State.
Okay, yeah.
Playoff, so never mind.
They have, yeah. But that didn't count.
They counted.
It counted, but it didn't. They
Alex
scored
Hagler,
0
if
points.
Texas and Oklahoma.
The question could be, who's going to score the first point ever in the college football playoff? Because Michigan State still has 0.
Will Billy Napier prove Brandon wrong and set Florida up for long-term success? Probably not. Will Tennessee win every game other than Georgia, Alabama, says Clay Partridge? No. Can Georgia keep an edge or handle prosperity, or will it fall back to just an NY6 team? I think it falls back.
Also, we're being yelled at because we have to set up for your show, too.
My name is Brandon Walker. Thank you very much. We got to go because I have another show in 20 minutes. I didn't realize it was 4:39. I wish I had a producer that would have told me.
I wasn't going to get in your way.
That was fun. Good football talk.
I like it. I think this is the.
I'll be better. I'll be better next time.
You were good. I think this is the first.
I thought you were just like, I wouldn't have known if I didn't know. You know what I mean?
All right. We'll be back. That's Unnecessary Roughness.